Hello and welcome, Rossoneri fans, to this new episode of our AC Milan Talk. Again, I'm accompanied by Sheridan Burt. Welcome.
Hi, Juicy. I'm looking forward to today. So much wonderful stuff to talk about.
Absolutely. We're going to go through everything about AC Milan. Also, Adriano Del Monte, welcome.
Thank you, Juicy. It's a big show. Champions League's at a very nice time and plenty to come.
So we are ready. Let's begin. The draw in Milan has decided that AC Milan will face Napoli in the Champions League quarterfinals. Sheridan, what do you think about it?
Such an exciting fixture.
That's
There's
right.
that hint of familiarity. Obviously, it's the leaders of Serie A, but it's also what never happened in this competition before. Milan have never met Napoli in the Champions League or in Europe, so there's something new, something old, and obviously something blue. That's the Napoli team. So it could be fascinating. It's a really difficult one to predict. The only thing you can predict is that there will be fireworks.
There will be. You can see the draw here. The road to Istanbul, June 10, the final. Obviously, Juicy, for me, the thing that stands out immediately, the winner of Milan-Napoli to take on Benfica and Inter. So a very interesting half of the draw. Of course, the other half there with Real Madrid, Man City, Bayern Munich and Chelsea. So much quality in this competition. But for Milan, when the draw was done and I saw Napoli come out, I was very excited. I think this is a really exciting tie. Obviously, Napoli leading comfortably in Serie A, but the Champions League is a different competition. European football is a different competition, and Milan, with all of the history, I think this is going to be a fascinating battle. Also,
we have to say that AC Milan already have met Napoli in this season in the league, so do you expect the similar game?
Do you know, it's completely different. As Adriano said, that when you play in Europe, it's different atmosphere, different referee as well. Don't forget, the pressure will be different. And historically, when two sides from the same league meet in Europe, the one that does better is the one that has more experience, is more successful in European competition, and that is Milan. 7 Champions Leagues. Napoli haven't won the trophy, so that will play a part. It's obviously an Italian derby, but the flavour, the setting will be different. And if it gets to sort of the second half of the second match and the scores are level, the pressure will start to build. And Milan, due to the players and also people behind the scenes, might just be able to handle that pressure in a better manner.
We just saw the scenes there. That was the meeting earlier this season in Serie A. Was pitch side at that match. Simeone scored very late. It was a tight battle, very, very tight battle. Obviously, it's been many months since then, but what's intriguing about this upcoming Champions League tie is that there is the reverse Serie A meeting days before.
April 2nd.
So three matches in 17, 18 days. It will be interesting to see how both teams juggle those commitments, but we know it's that time of season now, so much football to be played.
We will definitely get a taste very soon, right after the international break. And also, one question I wanted to ask you is that we're going to be playing in San Siro first on April the 12th, actually. Is it better, or would you have preferred like an away game first?
In the old days, well, 2 seasons ago, when the away goals rule was in play, it might have made a difference, but now the away goals don't count. So it's hard to say. You have to make the best of whatever situation is thrown at you. Milan are playing the home game first, so they will hope to try and get a strong advantage, have something to defend when they go to the Diego Armando Maradona. Quindi, therefore, it doesn't really make too much of a difference in terms of away goals. It'll just be a case of trying to get something, a strong foothold in the game before you travel to the Bay of Naples.
I think it's a positive. I think the first leg at San Siro is a big positive, and Sheridan's correct. In the days of the away goals, it was definitely advantageous to play the second leg at home. It was a slightly different tie. This time around, given the fact that, look, Napoli, we know what they've done domestically. We know that many people are looking at this and thinking, OK, maybe Napoli are the team that are doing well in Serie A. But I think Milan at home first leg, an opportunity in front of what will definitely be a sold-out San Siro, plenty of atmosphere, plenty of colour there. I think they have an opportunity to really put their best foot forward, get a positive result, and as Sheridan said, take that to Napoli and see what you can do if you can defend that and go forward. Put the pressure on Napoli. So I quite like the first leg here at home.
So what are the weapons that you fear the most by the top of the league team?
Well, I think the whole world now knows that it's Victor Osimhen and Kvaratskhelia. They really have been revelations. They arrived in Italy relatively unknown, particularly Kvaratskhelia. People couldn't even say his name. I hope I'm saying it correctly. But he's been fantastic this season. But the good thing is, it's as Adriano was saying, it's a team that Milan know because they play in the same league. We all know them. We've been watching them all season. So there won't be any surprises for Milan. But yeah, I would say Victor Osimhen might have some fitness issues, but if he's available, he will be selected. And Kvaratskhelia on the left wing is a menace.
One of the best duos in world football.
Right, they support each other, they charge each other.
Absolutely. The respect has to be there. They are a very talented duo and well supported by a lot of quality in that team. But the key point is that Milan know this Napoli team. If it's Napoli, as we've seen in other stages of this competition, against teams that maybe don't know their style, maybe don't know their way of football and how they play, Milan, okay, obviously not playing against Napoli every week, but here in Serie A, a close eye on what Napoli are doing. And for this reason, I think Milan will be in a better position against a talented Napoli team than perhaps if it were a foreign team playing against them. So, yes, a lot of quality there, but we need to look what's in the Milan camp. There are plenty of weapons, plenty of attacking weapons. And I'm very interested to see, Sheridan, the three-man defence.
Right.
If in a month from now we're still looking at that formation, how will that line up against the quality of the Napoli attack?
Yeah, certainly. The one thing you can say about Kalulu, Tomori and Ciao is they are quick. So it's not as if Napoli's speed will scare this Milan rearguard too much because both sides have got absolute racing cars on that pitch.
Plus, we actually avoided for now Manchester City, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid.
Yeah, there's some massive history on the other side.
At least we know Napoli better. We've already
better
gone.
the devil you know.
That's
as they say,
very well
as
said.
They say.
But that's true, Juicy, and we saw the draw before. That's what makes it really interesting because those three very big, very favoured clubs across the continent, they're all in that one half of the draw, which means only one of them...
Some of them, is already out.
Someone
you
has
said
to...
that, Juicy said that, we did not say that, Juicy said that.
Someone has to go. But look, obviously...
Someone has to go.
Obviously, the group stage here, Milan coming through the group, this was Salzburg to get things underway, Dinamo Zagreb here, and Chelsea, of course, where the results didn't go as well as we would have hoped. But Milan have had some good experiences thus far.
You're right. The group, it was patchy, but Milan got through, and that's all that you care about from the group stage. The really good work was done in the first leg against Tottenham, which I'm sure we'll see shortly, and the second leg in London, where Milan put on a really good, classic European performance.
You still need to get these results, though. And a 4-0 away to Dinamo Zagreb, I was very, very impressed by. And yes, you are right. What did come in the round of 16 were two impressive displays, particularly defensively, not conceding a goal. But that is as a result of what we saw in the group stage there, because this European experience is so crucial to this Milan team progressing deeper in the tournament. And that's why I think with that, with the fact that we know that they've got the history and quality in this competition, this is a different test for Napoli, a very difficult test, and I'm confident that Milan will give their very best.
All right, and also about the draw of the Champions League, also our sports director, Frederick Massara, had something to say, so we're going to listen to his words right now.
Una sfida inedita, non c'è mai stato un precedente europeo tra Milano e Napoli, è una sfida certamente molto difficile contro un Napoli fortissimo, ma anche una sfida molto stimolante che affrontiamo con fiducia. La prendiamo veramente con grande coraggio e con la speranza di fare delle bellissime partite, ma saranno sicuramente partite spettacolari perché sia il Napoli che il Milan hanno dimostrato di poter costruire un gioco bellissimo in questa stagione, quindi siamo fiduciosi che saranno veramente delle sfide entusiasmanti.
So let's comment on these words. He says we need to be brave about it.
Yeah, he said the right things. You know, he's a director of one of the clubs, so you don't want to sort of say anything risky. And he said the right things. Both sides have shown incredible quality this season. Both sides want to get to the semi-finals, and he expects exciting matches. Now, one thing I would add is that if Milan get the right result, the victory in the first leg, and then go down to Naples and play defensively for a draw, that is completely understandable because it's the aim of the game is to get to the next round. So the first match I would expect to be perhaps Milan more on the front foot. Napoli this season don't have a defensive style. They go for it. They really go all guns a-blazing. So the second leg might be a bit more cautious, particularly if one team gets the win in the first match. But we hope they'll both be super exciting matches.
Exciting is the key word. And they will be, because this is also rare for Serie A. We've seen 3 Italian clubs in the quarterfinal stage of a Champions League for the first time in 17 years. And it is as a result of the solid performances we saw in the round of 16. And of course, from Milan's perspective, it was this one. Another one I was very fortunate to be at, saw that goal very close, Brahim Diaz there. And in the end, that goal early in the first leg was the difference. It was the only goal of the tie. 2 clean sheets I was very impressed by, and they're taking plenty of confidence now into the quarters.
All right, so this is an Italian derby that could actually lead to another Milan derby.
Well, we mustn't get too ahead of ourselves, but lots of the people out there watching will remember, if they're not old enough, they would have seen the videos of the 2003 semi-final between Inter and Milan, and that's maybe a carrot for the future. But for now, the team have to concentrate on Napoli. But as you say, Giusy, it's a possibility. Milan-Inter semi-final.
Can't get ahead of ourselves, but that would be fascinating.
Right.
That would be absolutely fascinating. A derby della Madonnina in the semi-finals of Champions League would be an amazing, amazing achievement for this city, for the 2 clubs. But yes, Sheridan, one game at a time, because
calma,
because Napoli is a big test, and one that we need to look forward to first.
All right, so after the exciting evening in London that actually led AC Milan to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, the Rossoneri, unfortunately, in the league couldn't go through actually a 1-1 draw against Salernitana. What do you think about that, Sheridan?
Well, it's like you said, after the heroics in North London, it was something of a come down, but it happens. It's that time of the season when the fatigue is accumulating in the players, mental and physical, and you can't be superstars in every match. Milan wanted to get the victory against the team from the south, but it just didn't happen. There will be frustrating, difficult, steps with the remainder of the league season. It was just one of those matches that didn't really go super well. Here are the highlights, and as you can see, it was a tough one.
It was a strange weekend, this one in Serie A, because obviously, given the European commitments, a few of the teams that did play in Europe did drop points. And yes, Milan were one of those teams, but they did get a goal. Giroud, there was some talk he may not have started this match off the back of a busy period, but he did. He got a goal. His presence just so important there, Giusy, up top, and a very nice header there.
Yeah,
that's a classic Giroud goal, top finish. Unfortunately, though, Salernitana did pull one back, and in the end, yes, we have to say 2 drop points, because an opportunity to, well, at that stage to go second, just missed. But still plenty of football to be played in Serie A. We mentioned, obviously, the Napoli match that's coming up next month, Udinese next in the league. So still plenty of time. Milan's still well and truly in that battle for the top 4, and still plenty of points to be gained.
You just mentioned it. We have actually to jump into what's going to be the next game of AC Milan, the one against Udinese. Actually, Giroud won't be there.
This is an interesting one, because an Udinese team, if we recall, Udinese started the season tremendously well. They were one of the form teams very early. Obviously, Milan away to Udinese this weekend. Udinese only a couple of wins at their home stadium in this year, and their form isn't there. I do see this one as there is a chance, obviously, to respond and pick up maximum points. But an Udinese team who haven't been at their best. So, look, it will be a tricky one for Milan, because the recent record in recent years has always been quite tight between these 2 sides. This was the opening match of the season. First day of the season, celebrating the Scudetto win of last season, Sheridan. 4-2 it finished. It was one of the most exciting matches all season that I covered. Udinese scored within the first couple of minutes. Theo pulled one back from the penalty spot, and it was Milan at their best off the back of last season's good form. But I don't expect we'll see a similar match this time around. Udinese a lot more compact, tend to play on the break a bit, and we certainly haven't seen as many goals in matches in Udine in this fixture in recent seasons. But I think off the back of the 1-1 with Salernitana, Sheridan, this is an opportunity for particularly some of those attackers to find their best form against a team not in the best form.
Yes, maybe a chance for some squad rotation for Mr. Pioli. You'd sign up for another 4-2 victory for Milan in Udine.
There's a lot of reason to be motivated, though, for this one, because this weekend, elsewhere in Serie A, there's Lazio, Roma, Inter, Juve, meaning
anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Some of those teams will definitely drop points. Milan need the 3 points. This is a big, big weekend, and of course the last weekend before a quick break for the international
break.
It
will also be nice for the moral to be relaxing during the international break by taking 3 points home. Also, we have to point out how Udinese are actually a historically difficult team to face on their pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are. They're no mugs, as we say in England. They're not easy to beat. Have you heard that phrase before, Juicy?
I don't, actually.
That's my first time as well.
Yeah, it
nice.
does exist. I promise you. They're no mugs means that they're not. You mustn't take them, or you must take them seriously. They won't be easy to beat. They're proud. They want to finish the season on a flourish as well. So they'll be hard to break down.
It's a beautiful stadium. Their stadium as well. I can tell you, I've done a lot of work there. This was the meeting last season.
That's right.
1-1, and as I said earlier, Jussi, Udinese have been very difficult to beat on their home pitch, and their form, that's why their form this year, only the couple of wins, has been a little surprising, especially from what we saw earlier in the campaign. But yeah, Milan, it has been difficult to win there, but as I said, I'm really expecting a response off the back of the Salernitana performance, and obviously no European football for Milan midweek. I think the players will be slightly more refreshed than what we saw last round.
Beautiful action by Zlatan Ibrahimovic right there. And now we're going to be listening to the words of Stefano Pioli in his usual pre-match press conference.
Conosciamo i nostri avversari.
We know our opponents. They're a very physical team. They've got technique. They play very direct football, transitioning quickly to their strikers. Therefore, we must be very careful and very determined. Well, judging from what I see in training, with the team perfectly fit, perfectly mentally prepared, I will continue to feel the strongest team I can. It's a very important game. It's a very difficult game. We must read it properly to win. I don't think the break will be important. I think how we reach the break will be important. That means tomorrow's game is very important. Many players will not be able to recover because we have a strong team, so many players will be with their national teams. Therefore, how we reach the break is crucial. It'll be crucial for our league standing. All the teams are very close together, very, very competitive, strong rivals, so we must push hard. What matters is how we get to the break, how we fare tomorrow. Then we'll use it to the best of our ability to reach the top part of the end of the season. Any opponent would have been a very tough opponent. These are the last 8 in Europe, the top 8 in Europe. So obviously we expected to face a very complicated, difficult team, but also very stimulating and motivating. We're at the quarterfinals. We are AC Milan. We want to go through. Of course, Napoli are a very strong team. They're doing a lot better than us in the league, but the Champions League is a separate matter. We deserve to be in this round. We'll be motivated, we'll be ambitious, and we'll do our best to go through to the next round. I congratulated Ignazio Abate and the players. I saw the game. They played an excellent match against a very strong opponent. And the opponent plays very well. So it's highly satisfying for the youth sector. I see them work every day. They work with great passion, great continuity, tenacity. Obviously, there are very interesting players. We're all keeping an eye on them.
And these were the words of our coach Stefano Pioli before the game against Udinese. Now we're going to jump into the world of our AC Milan women. So last week brought a bad result to our women, a 3-1 result against Roma in Coppa Italia. Sheridan.
Yes, the cup dream is over for this season, but the ladies played really well. They really acquitted themselves well against a standout team in Italian women's football this season, AS Roma. It was a tense match, and they took it as far as they could, but Roma just had too much in the end. But it was an entertaining match. Milan actually took the lead. Can you guess who scored? Giusy Adriano?
I can. Piemonte.
Martina Piemonte.
Or as we now call her, Mighty Martina, with a really good goal.
Mighty,
but Roma did get back into the game, and the second goal that Roma scored. There's actually an injury here to Alia Guagni, who was injured trying to defend the move. She damaged her thigh. Roma played on. It wasn't a head injury, so Roma were within their rights to play on, but it is a shame for Guagni, and we wish her well in her recovery. And then Roma made it 3, which meant the match didn't go to the penalties or extra time. So it was a brave exit. They played so well, the girls, but it just wasn't quite enough.
Shame for the injury, but great to see, because Roma have been the team that have been incredible in Serie A this season, but great to see the performance to match the team that have been leading for so long for the best part of 180 minutes is no mean feat. So speedy recovery to Guanyu there.
Yes.
And for the rest of the team, hopefully they take a lot from that now in these remaining 8 fixtures in Serie A.
Now on March 18th, actually the Women's League goes on with the Pole Scudetto. The top 5 classified for the first part of the season still have some games to play, right, Sheridan?
Yes, it's exciting. It's like a mini league. It commences again, and
but they maintain their points.
But they maintain their points. You keep the points from before, and the first match is against Juventus. And Milan this season have got a really good record against the Bianconere. They've beaten them twice, Giusy, which is a fantastic achievement. And let's hope that they can make that 3 victories. Adriano, I know, knows the Juventus women's team scene and situation quite well.
Absolutely. The head coach of Juventus women is a fellow Italian-Australian from my home city, so I know them very well. But I can tell you, he's been very disappointed at his team's performances against Milan this season, because as Sheridan said, there have been some very nice results, particularly this one, 4-3 earlier in the season. And that's been the impressive thing, not only that they've beaten Juventus, but they've scored plenty of goals in doing so, and have dominated large stages of the match. So we talk about what these ladies have been able to learn and pick up from the experience in the recent Coppa Italia against a team in Roma who have been in great form, but also here against Juventus. We touched on it last week, but this was a Juventus team who last season made the quarterfinals of the UEFA Champions League. Milan certainly mixing it now with the very best, and these girls will be better for it in the seasons to come. So I really do like this revamped format, you'll see, where we see the girls play against the other top teams, gives them greater opportunity to develop against the best, push themselves against the best, and I'm sure many positive results to come.
That's right, Adriano, and now we're going to discuss everything about our under-19. For the first time in their history, AC Milan under-19 gets to the Final Four after the beautiful game against Atletico Madrid in the Youth League. Sheridan.
What a wonderful occasion it was. It was a really tough match, this quarter-final against Atletico Madrid. The Spaniards were so competitive. They were so hungry. It was a tough game. It was a physical game. There were 1 or 2 spicy challenges, spicy tackles, but they kept, that's another phrase for you guys if you haven't heard, spicy.
Right. Let me write it down
Spicy, passionate match, but full of energy, full of aggression, controlled aggression for the main part. And it was just a really professional performance from Mr. Barte's side. This is the first goal, Adriano. Watch Stalmack approaching the area, attacking midfielder, raiding midfielder. He took a gamble on the ball reaching him, and he did. Atletico ignored him or didn't spot him, and they paid for it. And this is El Hilal's goal, the second goal, that came off the post and bounced off the Atletico keeper. So for UEFA, in the eyes of the, in terms of statistics, it's probably an own goal, but it was a great shot by Younes El Hilali. There were the celebrations. You can see how much it means to them to be in the Final Four, the best 4 under-19 teams in Europe. It was a glorious afternoon.
That's amazing. They are incredible scenes, a special game. I can tell you, I actually watched that match live in Madrid. I was covering Real Madrid in the Champions League, and that match was on in the afternoon, and there were many Atletico fans watching that, and they were very disappointed because they certainly fancied their chances against Milan. So for history to be made for this club, of course, Milan and Real Madrid were the only 2 clubs to have their youth team and senior team in the quarterfinals. Now Milan through to the semis. It's a very, very good time to be a Milan fan.
Now we have to say they have to bring that energy in the league now, because we come from 2 victories, the latest one against Bologna, and now we're off to the game against Empoli. Sheridan.
Yeah, Mr. Abate is starting to get players back from injury, so he's got a huge squad to pick from, and if he wants, he can rest those players that will be involved in the Final Four tournament of the UEFA Youth League, which will be played on April the 21st, and then the final on April the 24th, I believe. But in the league, Mr. Abate has got a chance to just maybe rest some of the tired legs, to rotate the midfield, to freshen up the defence. But yeah, the match against Empoli is, like you say, let's keep the good mood, the good spirit, the positivity that was picked up from that historic afternoon against Atletico.
Empoli beaten heavily last weekend. Milan with plenty of confidence off the back of recent results. It's a timely fixture and another 3 points up for grabs.
Here we're taking a look actually at the game against Bologna. I think the goal is about to be coming right now, isn't it, Sheridan?
Yeah, it was important to win. It was important to get the clean sheet, and it was a super goal from Xhaka Traore. Such a nimble player, so quick. You look at it, takes up the ball here, he gets away from one defender. Then the second one, he says, get out of it. And then he puts it into the bottom corner, off the post. That's a really good goal. Xhaka Traore has been threatening to do that all season. We know he's got the quality. He needs perhaps some of the focus, and he put it all together there in a wonderful goal.
Spicy finish, Sheridan.
Spicy football.
Thank you very much again, Sheridan Bird, for being with me and commenting everything about AC Milan.
Thank you, my pleasure. I've had a lovely time.
Thank you again, Adriano Del Monte. We'll be meeting actually after the international break.
We will. I'll be at Italy, England next week, but very much enjoyed today and looking forward to next time.
All right, thank you very much for following us on our AC Milan talk. See you after the international break. Ciao.